We'll build a dashboard from your Google Sheets data in this video. From importing the data into a database in n8n to getting Cursor to build the entire interface in a single prompt. This is the easiest way to build a customized dashboard that will impress your clients, your boss, or just help you visualize the data easier. A lot of people have already downloaded this workflow right here, which is a workflow that allows you to get anything you have from Google Sheets, like this example right here, and send it all over to a Postgres database. But for this particular workflow, it works more as a RAG because you have this AI agent that has inside of its system prompt a way to fetch inside of this Postgres database. But that's not what we're aiming for in this video. What we're going to be building in this video is a Postgres to dashboard. The first reason I'd say anyone would pay to have a dashboard like this built is because of the filters. Yes, you could probably filter anything inside of Google Sheets, but every single time you need to do a different operation, you kind of have to think of the algorithm behind how you'll filter that out. When with a dashboard interface, you could, for example, select a date range, and then it'll filter and show only results, only the rows of that specific range. The second reason is sorting, and you can sort this just fine by just clicking over here and sorting by color, sorting Z to A, then this will be applied to all the rows. But if you were to merge the results from filtering as well as ordering inside of Google Sheets, that could raise a bit more level of complexity. Yet again, if you have expertise in Excel or Google Sheets, just bear in mind that most people don't. Most people will just prefer to have something that they could just click as easy as possible and get the results they want. So yes, dashboards like these are definitely valuable. Already a few members from the AI Forge community reported making money selling these type of dashboards. And I'll show you right now how easy it is to create them inside of Cursor AI. The third reason for creating a dashboard like this is purpose. And what I mean by purpose, I have a dashboard that I've already shown in my past videos, and it basically tracks YouTube competitor channels. If I have a huge list of videos all in rows like this, then I can do whatever I want with this data. But most of the times I want that data for a specific purpose. Here's the dashboard I'm talking about, and my main focus is searching for outlier videos. So the outlier score should be the top focus. Because of that, I can shape my dashboard into presenting me that value in the best way possible. And I have it written up here, so 120% plus 20% versus average. I can click on it, see that it's a high performer, and all this is basically talking about the outlier score. I can even change the outlier multiplier, so I can toggle to 1.8, 1.6, 1.2. And with 1.2, I can also click on outliers only and get only the outliers videos that are marked as a 1.2 multiplier. So again, it would be possible inside of Google Sheets, but don't you think this design is much cleaner? Okay, so let's start building. The first thing you want to do is execute this command right here. You can find it in the description of the video. And what it does is basically create a container inside of your Docker. And if you don't have Docker installed, I promise you it's pretty easy to install it, but if you need any help, feel free to reach out down in the comment section. Grab that, open up your terminal or your command prompt, place that in, hit enter. If only this shows up, it's because your Docker already has a Postgres image, which is my case. But if it starts loading a lot of different things, it's probably because it's installing the image for Postgres, which is fine too. If you're using Windows, you can open up your Docker desktop and verify that the dashboard preview container is running down here. We'll use this environment variable in just a bit, but for now, let's run this workflow. And this workflow is already attached to my specific spreadsheet here in Google Sheets. All you have to do for your specific case is place that spreadsheet inside of your Google Drive, and then you might access it from the list of spreadsheets that will show up here. Aside from that, you'll have to place in the credentials for your Google Drive account, as well as for your Google Sheets account, and finally for your Postgres account. And if you're running it in Docker like I am, you can use the host as host.docker.internal. The rest is just Postgres user and without a password because we created it without a password. Then if I just hit retry, you'll see that it's testing it and the connection was tested successfully. So let me close that, head back here to the canvas, and just hit execute workflow. Nice. So as you can see, it found 1,465 items, of which it grabbed its schema, created the Postgres table, and inserted everything inside of that table. Now let's create our Next.js app, which will run the dashboard. I just created a folder named dashboard preview. Up here, I like to type in just cmd. Now I'll use the command npm create next app. If you struggle building this, refer to this video right here, which is build any anything with this stack. And if you still have any issues, please let me know in the comment section again, because it might mean more people have the same issue, and it would be cool to make a video specifying exactly how to install each thing. So just run that and wait for a while, type in yes, all the default answers, and wait for it to install the project. Nice, so that was installed. The next thing I'll install is Prisma, and for that, npm install save dev Prisma. In case you're wondering, all these commands will be in the description of the video. Okay, so that's installed. The next command will be npm install at prisma/client. Nice, now finally let's npx prisma init to start Prisma. Nice, with that done, code space dot to open up our IDE, which will be cursor. And here is where we'll use the database URL. You can copy all this. It will be exactly the same for you if you use this command to create your local Postgres. You can delete all this if you want. I always like deleting that. Now inside of the folder Prisma, then schema Prisma, you can open that up right here. This will show as default, and this is basically the schema of the database that it's expecting. But that's because we haven't imported the database that we have inside of this project. And we can do that with the command npx prisma db pull. Actually, in here, make sure to remove the dashboard underline preview. And then we can use the npx prisma db pull command, which will grab everything from the database and find that specific schema, then import it inside of our Prisma. And this is the schema that was identified. You can see all the data inside of the database by typing in npx prisma studio. Wait some seconds and the database will be shown right here. You can click on the table and see everything that was inserted inside of your table. Nice. So let me close this connection, wipe out the database, and type in npx shadcn at latest init. This is because I want to use the components over from shadcn, which are pretty neat and helps us make our code more modular. Let me add a button from shadcn because it will create component folder inside of our project. Here it is. I feel like that guides the AI to place everything, as I said, in a more modular aspect. Now let's go on and add the cursor rules. All you have to do is go to the main directory of the project, type in .cursor rules, enter, and paste this in. You'll also find this in a link for the description of the video. I guess I'm not just going to paste everything in the description because it'll be pretty long, but these are just guidelines that help cursor work better with this structure of Next.js and Prisma. I like to place the screen divided like this because we can actually see the project being built. And the prompt I'll use is, this is a new Next.js project. It uses shadcn, TypeScript, Prisma. Then I follow along explaining that it should use the schema Prisma to understand the context inside of the database and to use whichever data is inside of the database to create all the dashboard. This project should be a single page that shows a dashboard with all the data found in the database. It should allow the user to filter by date as well as sort the fields. So I didn't place a specific thing here just because honestly I don't even know what is inside of this dummy data for the spreadsheet, but it will be sufficient for you to understand what we can create just because cursor has that context of what is inside the Postgres schema. Then I talk about the style being neobrutalism and using a pastel color palette. If prompting that is tricky for you, check out this Cursor Design Like a Pro, easy steps to build beautiful websites with Cursor AI. Lastly, I send over a better context for it to understand what type of data it's working with, because sometimes it'll look inside of the schema Prisma, see that it has a review content, but not know, well, what is the size of that? Like, what could I expect inside of that specific data? Or even the rating, for example, is it 0 to 100, 0 to 10, 0 to 5? So if you give it enough context, it'll know, okay, so if it's a 0 to 5, then I can illustrate this in another way. So let me grab all that, paste it in here. We're going with Claude for Sonnet, not even the thinking model. This one should be enough to do whatever we need. So enter, let me type in npm run dev to have the page loaded here on the right side. Honestly, there's not a lot of secret to building these dashboards. It's just a matter of using that workflow to create the schema and then importing all the data from that sheets to your database, getting that schema back with Prisma in your Next.js app, and then the LLM will probably have all the context it needs to create the entire app. Now, what I believe will make the dashboard stand out is the purpose, because I believe that when you focus on a specific metric and all your dashboard is built to sustain that specific metric and make it just easy for you to find whatever you want fast, then it's just perfect. But you have to find it and understand which is that specific metric. And this is the result we got. I honestly think this is pretty cool. So F5, you'll see that the scroll is this size, and then as we scroll down, if we get to a place where it doesn't have anything, it'll load more of that data. That's the pagination we asked for. It also implemented a way to search things. So let me n8n. Yeah, it fetches all the items that has that specific name. We can also sort by date, product name, rating, price. When we expand this card, we get a way to filter through a date range and based on a specific category. All the categories are listed over here, so that's pretty awesome. And of course, a single prompt did build this, but most of the time you'll be testing edge cases. I mean, the way it is right now, it's pretty awesome. It just misses what I said earlier about a purpose, about a specific thing that makes it stand out. Although honestly, selling Google Sheets is a whole market, and probably by adding a dashboard like this for that Google Sheet that you're selling could potentially allow you to sell it 5 times or even 10 times the original value of just the spreadsheet. Now you might be wondering what happens when the data is updated. That is part of the workflow. You'll have to add a cron here, which will say, okay, every hour it needs to update, or every 5 minutes it has to update, or for example, each 5 minutes it has to update. But keep in mind that depending on the frequency that you have to update this, you'll probably have to change some nodes in here to ensure that the performance is optimized. For now, let me search this n8n unbreakable. Go in here. Okay, that's it. It's $3.99. So 399. Actually here it's $2.99, so it might be a different product. Here it is. Let me change this to something like, actually I was in another account, so now with this account let me change it to something like $9.99. Okay, enter. Let me see if there's another one with that price. I got this dummy data from GitHub, so I don't even know what it's about, but it can help us test this for sure. Let me execute the workflow again. Now the workflow should identify that it already scraped something, remove the table, insert it again. I don't think that is the most optimal way possible. I mean, I'm sure it's not the most performant way possible. Ideally, it should update the database instead of removing it and adding a new one, but that might add a layer of complexity that most people won't be able to maintain. Yeah, so just by hitting F5, you'll see that it is already updated back in our dashboard. That is it. I believe there's a lot of things that could be inserted here that could be changed, but I really like the style, I really like the design and all the features. So let's leave it like this. Thanks for watching. If this helped you at all, remember to leave a like and consider subscribe for more videos like this. Till then.